Well, George, that was the best introduction that I never heard. I want to thank George Irvin for that introduction. He's a pretty good Farmers Home director, and I'm very sure that that was a great introduction. I want to thank George Irvin, and I also want to thank the committee, Mr. Stamps, Delmer Stamps, Yvonne Steele, Yule Sheldon, Cassandra Smith, Eunice Williams, Melvin Butler, Beth Long, Sandra Harper, Lisa Gill, Jewel Adams, Dutch Miller, Helen Ward, and Evelyn Johnson. I hope I've not left anyone out. I'm also privileged this morning to be sharing the program with my friend, Judge Robert Gibbs, the Jim Hill High School Choir, otherwise known as the Statesman, and also Miss Bonetta Burt, Katie McCullough, Bernadette Taylor, and Jesse Bowie, my good friend Jesse. How are you? And good morning to all of you there in the ETV Auditorium in Jackson. First off, let me apologize for not being there in person. I've learned a lot since I've been privileged to serve as secretary. I've learned most of all, however, that my schedule is not my own. At any rate, greetings to all of you gathered there in the ETV Auditorium. Here in Washington, it's icy, snowy, and cold. I understand that old man winter didn't ignore Mississippi this past weekend either. Well, I'm just glad the information superhighway can in some cases override the weather and cannot be blocked by ice and snow. We all know that February is Black History Month, the time historically set aside to reflect on accomplishments made and challenges to be met within the African American community. An opportunity to pridefully speak of our heritage and soberly analyze the problems plaguing our people at a time which we set about to hopefully find solutions. Now, two words could be used which give perspective to our glorious history and working together what could be our glorious future. Two words: opportunity and responsibility. The faces behind me, our heroes, our heroines, our icons, beckon us toward our destiny to assume our responsibility, to fulfill our opportunity. They set the example. They have charted the course. Their words reverberate within our souls, prompting the better angels within our nature. If they could face and overcome the challenges of their day, with all of the obstacles, with all of the inconveniences and all of the social obstructions, if they dared face down and defeat their enemy, I have a question this morning. Why can't we? Harriet Tubman risking life time and again to lead slaves to freedom. Frederick Douglass reminding us that power will never yield only to suggestion, yielding only to that which it recognizes and respects other power. Marcus Garvey, who wanted so badly for us to understand our potential for enterprise and harness it for our collective financial benefit. W.E.B. Du Bois, prolific writer and editor and agitator, agitating thankfully for our freedom and for our children's future. Malcolm X, who in his evolution told us that we should have no permanent friends, no permanent enemies, only permanent interests. Of course, Martin Luther King, who told us so eloquently that social progress doesn't just roll in on the wheels of inevitability. If we want it to happen, we must indeed ourselves make it happen. And one in which we in Mississippi missed so badly because she walked among us, the beautiful and majestic lady who ran for the congressional seat which I was honored to win just 25 years later, Ms. Fannie Lou Hamer, which among other golden phrases coined her famous summary of our social condition. And you should all repeat with me. We've come a long way, but we've got a long way to go. That's no less true today than it was when she said it. Yes, we should be proud. Look at where we are in Mississippi and all throughout the nation. We have achieved much in science, in entertainment, in sports, in government, in the world of business and finance. Everyone's heard of Colin Powell of the Joint Chiefs. Everyone's heard of Bob Johnson of BET, Jerry Rice and Michael Jordan, and I could go on ad infinitum. We're on the Supreme Court. We're in the Mississippi Judiciary, and we are vocal, very vocal, in the President's cabinet. We're university presidents. We're astronauts. We're actresses. Nobel Prize literature winners like Toni Morrison. Chief executive officers of major American cities. And more of us dominate the halls of the state legislature than any time within our history. We are spellbinding orators, captivating the nation's attention. We're here, but have we arrived? Well, probably not. There's another face which should be up here on Mount Freedom. Another of our heroes who gave so much for all of us. If we could just see his face, he'd probably be smiling today. A beautiful smile, a knowing smile, a smile of justice no longer denied, the smile of Meg Evans, another Mississippian that a Mississippi jury finally freed from a fitful sleep. Now that his assassin has been convicted, Medgar can enjoy the sweet sleep of the innocent and dream of justice. He should dream because he's earned it. We have not. He told us that freedom is not free, never has been free, and never will be free. Some of us left here on earth must be about Medgar's work, to fulfill his legacy, and that of all the other champions here displayed. They ask you, all of these icons, all of our heroes and our heroines, they are asking you, they're asking me, what is your responsibility? Where are your opportunities? Now, our community's in trouble. Too many prisons, not enough college. Too many drugs, not enough jobs. Too much unfocused energy, not enough respect. Some of us look exclusively to the government, but the government can sometimes rightfully look away. It can provide health care for all, but what does it matter if they are young men who are bent on self-destruction? Our government can provide family leave, but in many single-family homes, that is indeed the problem. The government can provide welfare reform, but it's the very reform of our community esteem and the way in which we treat one another that is the issue which will bring about continued long-term progress. Many of us who work for the government know that we must look beyond the government, knowing that we have always known that the government cannot do it all. We must look to ourselves and to each other. That's just the way it ought to be. And it's just the way that they would want it. Those of you in that auditorium this morning have the responsibility for one another. You have the opportunity to do something good for one another. So I challenge each of you in that auditorium this morning as I move to conclusion. I challenge each and every one of you to care a little more, to work a little harder, to give a bit more generously, and just don't run away from one another so quickly. To realize that in the final analysis, that black history, our history, is a work in progress, a work that after all includes you. A mountain this morning calls out to us, where is your faith? Good morning.